The Yemeni Civil War is an ongoing conflict that began in 2015 between two factions claiming to constitute the Yemeni government, along with their supporters and allies. Southern separatists and forces loyal to the government of Abd Rabbuh Mansur Hadi, based in Aden, have clashed with Houthi forces and forces loyal to the former President Ali Abdullah Saleh. There are claims that al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant have also carried out attacks, with AQAP controlling swaths of territory in the hinterlands, and along stretches of the coast. On 19 March, the Houthi-led Supreme Revolutionary Committee declared a general mobilization to overthrow Hadi and further their control by driving into southern provinces. The Houthi offensive, allied with military forces loyal to Saleh, began on the next day with fighting in Tai's governorate. By the 25th of March, Lahij fell to the Houthis and they reached the outskirts of Aden, the seat of power for Hadi's government. Hadi fled the country the same day. Concurrently, a coalition led by Saudi Arabia launched military operations by using airstrikes to restore the former Yemeni government, and the United States provided intelligence and logistical support for the campaign. By the 2nd of May 2015, at least 400 civilians had died in Aden. Background: Ansar Allah, known popularly as the Houthis, a Zaidi group with its origins in the mountainous Sadr Governorate on Yemen's northern border with Saudi Arabia, began waging a low-level insurgency against the Yemeni government in 2004. The intensity of the conflict waxed and waned over the course of the 2000s, with multiple peace agreements being negotiated and later disregarded. On a separate front in 2007, Southerners started calling for secession of the South through peaceful protest, which was met with brutal force by government forces. The Houthi insurgency heated up in 2009, briefly drawing in neighboring Saudi Arabia on the side of the Yemeni government, but quieted the following year after a ceasefire was signed. During the early stages of the Yemeni revolution in 2011, Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi declared the group's support for demonstrations calling for the resignation of President Ali Abdullah Saleh. Later in the year, as Saleh prepared to leave office, the Houthis laid siege to the Sunni-majority village of Damaj in northern Yemen, a step toward attaining virtual autonomy for Sadr. The Houthis boycotted a single-candidate election in early 2012 meant to give Abd Rabbuh Mansur Hadi a two-year term of office. They participated in a national dialogue conference, but withheld support from a final accord in early 2014 that extended Hadi's mandate in office for another year. Meanwhile, the conflict between the Houthis and Sunni tribes in northern Yemen spread to other governorates, including the Sana'a governorate by mid-2014. After several weeks of street protests against the Hadi administration, which made cuts to fuel subsidies that were unpopular with the group, the Houthis came to blows with Yemen army forces under the command of General Ali Mohsen al-Amama. In a battle that lasted only a few days, Houthi fighters seized control of Sana'a, the Yemeni capital, in September 2014. The Houthis forced Hadi to negotiate an agreement to end the violence, in which the government resigned and the Houthis gained an unprecedented level of influence over state institutions and politics. In January 2015, unhappy with the proposal to split the country into 6 federal regions, Houthi fighters seized the presidential compound in Sana'a. The power play prompted the resignation of President Abd Rabbuh Mansur Hadi and his ministers. The Houthi political leadership then announced the dissolution of parliament and the formation of a revolutionary committee to govern the country on the 6th of February 2015. On the 21st of February, 1 month after Houthi militants confined Hadi to his residence in Sana'a, he slipped out of the capital and traveled to Aden, the old capital of South Yemen. In a televised address from his hometown, he declared that the Houthi takeover was illegitimate and indicated he remained the constitutional president of Yemen. His predecessor as president, Ali Abdullah Saleh, who had been widely suspected of aiding the Houthis during their takeover of Sana'a the previous year, publicly denounced Hadi and called on him to go into exile. Allegations of outside support. The Houthis have long been accused of being proxies for Iran, since they both follow Shia Islam. The United States and Saudi Arabia have alleged that the Houthis receive weapons and training from Iran. The Houthis and Iranian government have denied any affiliation. The African nation of Eritrea has also been accused of funneling Iranian material to the Houthis, as well as offering medical care for injured Houthi fighters. The Eritrean government has called the allegations groundless, and said after the outbreak of open hostilities that it views the Yemeni crisis as an internal matter. Documents from WikiLeaks suggest that privately U.S. officials believe that allegations of Iranian support for the Houthis have been overstated by the Yemeni government for political reasons. The Yemeni government, meanwhile, has enjoyed significant international backing from the United States and Persian Gulf monarchies. U.S. drone strikes were conducted regularly in Yemen during Hadi's presidency in Sana'a, usually targeting al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. The United States was also a major supplier of weapons to the Yemeni government, although according to the Pentagon, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of that material has gone missing since it was delivered. Saudi Arabia provided financial aid to Yemen until late 2014, when it suspended it amid the Houthis takeover of Sana'a and increasing influence over the Yemeni government.